Today, I'll be reacting to Germany didn't become home until this happened. This video is recommended by one of you guys, so I'm excited to check this out. Let's go.
I know this sounds weird, but I forget all the time that I live in Germany. Let me explain. This is Berlin, and I moved here from a small town in
Ooh,
California about 15 years ago.
And I moved here from a small
that's a
town in Rhode
long
Island about
time.
12 to 13 years ago.
When you first move abroad, pretty much every moment you experience something that you're not used to, and things can be weird, especially in places like Germany.
Right.
You're always
Yeah.
reminded every day that you're somewhere foreign.
But then you kind of wake up one day and you realize like you're not living abroad, you're just living. Your home country, which happens to us to be the United States, feels like the vacation when you go visit. At the beginning, you feel like a tourist. Everything is, oh, wow, cool, look at that, look at this. That's different, this is new.
Right. Even though your plan is to now live in this place, but you still feel like you haven't moved to Germany. You're just on a 2-week vacation to Germany. You're
Right.
checking out the sites. You're going to the Brandenburg Gate, all that kind of stuff.
And everything is new and fresh and interesting.
Exciting, yeah.
Like, very exciting.
Yeah.
Even the small things, like go grocery shopping, turns out to be an exciting event. But then after a while,
I
that
bet.
feeling starts going away, and everything that you
Aw.
thought was weird now becomes normal and
Yeah, slightly
not weird.
Slightly more normal. Like you're no longer going out and buying schnitzel every day.
Or getting a dinner
Right.
all the time.
Really?
Like, how long did it take you?
I was eating dinner probably at least like 2-3 times a week, but then eventually you're like, I'm not on vacation. This food is killing me. And
Right.
then you go back to how you would normally eat, and you're actually like
Mm.
watching your health a little bit.
I think there are a few moments. I think
Makes
after a
sense.
few months, yeah, you don't feel like a tourist as much anymore. But then after maybe a year, like this is my home. After 2 years, like this is like really my place, my space.
I get that.
And of course, those first few months, like those first few years, you're planning on going back, right? Again, this is you don't know how this is going to work.
Or
Whether
at
you,
least you're open to it.
yeah. You're testing out Berlin, you're testing out London, you're testing out wherever you happen to be. And I know there was never a plan for me to live in Germany for 15 years. It was, I'm going to go try it out for a few months, and then suddenly a few months turns into a year or two.
Oh my gosh.
When are you coming back? When is this experiment
Right.
over?
Or you talk to your family, I talked to my mom and she said her friends have asked her, when's Alex coming back? When's Alex coming back? And then after a while she'd just say, he ain't, he's not coming back.
And I think one of the first key points where you start to transition to living abroad to living, like it being your home, that first trip back to for us, America, I don't know, I can't remember exactly if it's the second trip or my third trip, the going
Wow.
back didn't feel like going home anymore.
Right.
The going
Yeah.
back to the States felt like the vacation. And then when I arrived back in Berlin, that was like, I'm on my way back home. And I think that's when you notice
Yeah,
that,
that's the
oh my
sad
God,
part.
like my mind, my brain, my heart, my soul is there and not where I grew up.
And especially
Watching them makes me so excited to visit Germany soon. Like, what they're talking here, like they're just experimenting, that they're just gonna go for a few months and then it turns to years. Oh my gosh. That is really exciting. Like, it happened to me recently when I went to Australia, and then I saw how different lifestyle in Australia, and I was like, I don't want to go back because it feels so different, and it's nice in there and there's a lot to do. And I'm only there for 2 weeks. It's not that long, but I was like, oh man, I have to go back. But yeah, this is definitely what I'm gonna feel too when I go to Germany, because I know that life there will be different too. But yeah.
like those feelings you had, at least I had when I first moved, where everything was new. I kind of feel that way when I go back to the States now, where I feel like everything is also weird and new and
Mhm.
different. And that's an odd feeling. I've had my people tell me like, but you're American, dude, like this. I'm like, yeah, but I forget that when I go back to Rhode Island, it does feel odd now.
Yeah, and
Even just like driving a car is weird.
yeah, exactly. Like I think you hit it because now, especially those first few years, you're suddenly now only in the U.S. For me, California, you, Rhode Island, for a few weeks out of the year. You don't know that shop changed to this shop, or that the new slang that the kids are using because you know what I mean? Like, 'cause you're barely there anymore.
Or even things take for granted, like even things like when I go to the grocery store, people buy groceries for me. I'm like, I forgot you do that here. After a third of my life here, that's a significant amount of my life.
Interesting.
Absolutely.
You get used to, where you kind of grew
Yeah.
up as an adult, and I grew up as an adult
Yeah.
here. one of the most difficult things I think moving abroad is for our loved ones and their feelings and ours as well. Of course, when you move abroad, you're leaving everyone
Yeah,
behind.
Yeah, and you
it's
constantly miss
hard.
them, and you see those years going by, and you're only seeing them once, once in a blue moon.
You know, you get asked a lot, like we said before, you know, when are you coming back? When's this? And it does, you know, get a little annoying. You want to say, I'm not coming back. But then also it starts getting kind of sad. Obviously, people are asking because they care about you and they want you to stay.
Yeah.
That is, I think, a thing that you don't see a lot of like expat blogs or whatever. Like, it's a real feeling, and it is hard to kind of come to terms with.
Yeah, and it's kind of a pressure
Hmm.
that your family puts on you, but not because they're meaning to, but it's just their love in a way puts pressure on you. You know what I mean?
Right, of
It's-
course.
and I remember, and I don't think my dad would be upset if I mentioned this, but when I lived in Berlin, maybe 3 or 4 years, and we were taking a walk, and he didn't mean this in a mean way. It's just because he loved me and missed me. He's like, do you know when maybe you're gonna be kind of over this kind of like the Germany phase?
It's not a phase,
Yeah,
Mom.
and move back and kind of get a full-time job and that kind of thing, and he didn't mean anything bad by it. It's just think when I finally told him, I was like, hey, like I think I live here now, like I have friends here, I have a job here, and I'm sure it broke both my parents' hearts because they would love to see me more and I love to see them more, but I think him asking me that gave me that moment of realization where, again, I think this is my home because I realize this is how I feel.
Totally.
Yeah.
And it was a big moment as well. My parents first came to visit, and after they left, they said, "Yeah, like we get it. We understand why you're there. It's
Yeah,
totally your speed, your style. It seems like you're very happy there." The goal of every parent is for the child to be
Happy. Exactly.
Mhm.
And I think them realizing how happy I am kind of takes a sting out. Of course, it's never gonna go away.
And another huge
Yeah, that's the hard part when you are far from your loved ones, but then you don't want to go back because that's where you feel like you're home. You're not happy in the US, so why would you want to go back and live there? And yeah, your loved ones will eventually realize it once they see you happy.
huge moment is the first time when you meet somebody new, whether you're back visiting the States or in Berlin or wherever you happen to live, and ask where you're from, and you no longer say California, or you never longer say Rhode Island. You say like, where are you from? Oh, from Berlin, or
Right.
from Germany.
But also, like, I don't feel comfortable saying that either because I'm not from Berlin. I'm not German.
No, but it's not saying you're German.
Right.
I'm from Germany.
Right.
It's different.
That's the hard
yeah,
thing because, you
yeah.
know, I remember going to like hostels, not as much anymore, but, you know, back in the day,
Yeah,
I
that's
was in hostels.
hard.
You meet people, you know, like, where you're from.
Back in his
back in the
his
day,
youth,
back in my 20s.
20s.
And it's hard to say, it was hard for me to say, like, from Berlin because they'd be like, well, you're not German. Like, right, okay. So it becomes a whole thing.
But I live in Berlin 15 years. I'm from Berlin. Like,
Right.
not meaning I was born and raised here, but
Right.
it's like saying California doesn't make sense because, yes, I was born and raised in California, but I
You're
haven't
not
lived
there.
there in 15 years. My
So-
home
Yeah.
is Berlin.
For me, it becomes like a whole thing where I'm like, well, I live in Berlin, been there for 13 years, but I'm actually from the United States, but I've been
Right.
there for a long time, blah, 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 but I feel more German than I do American, and which makes sense.
Berlin
but
is your home. Like when you go to the airport
Berlin's home.
and you see Berlin on the board.
Oh.
That's home. That's home. Like
Yeah.
I'm coming back to Berlin. You know what I mean? And so it's always originally from California, but Berlin.
Or like when you say
is my
Berlin, like,
home.
but your English is really good. I'm like, well, I'm actually
Well,
American.
yeah.
Like, where are you actually from? Like, okay,
Yeah.
that's a whole other thing, you know?
And then
Yeah, I totally get them. Like, it's hard to explain it to people, when you move, you can't tell where you're originally from because you now live in a new country, which is different from where you grew up. But it's just hard to explain to people sometimes. I get that.
And as the years go even longer, and maybe you've been in your new home 7, 8 years, a decade.
So not even new home anymore,
Right.
just home.
I mean, the kind of honeymoon period is obviously washed away. I don't want to say you become
Yes.
jaded, but it's more. I mean, for everybody, right? The grass is always greener
Right.
on the other side, right? Like you move to London because that seems like a cool place with food and culture you could never get wherever you're from. You move to Berlin, same reason, whatever. And you start
Mhm.
seeing, oh, there's no place is perfect. There are problems in Germany.
Exactly.
Like there are
That's
things in my daily life
true.
that I hate, that I'm annoyed by, now I'm missing things from California that I wish were the same way here. That
Right.
starts to come into play.
Because nowhere is going to be utopia.
Yeah.
So there's a
Mhm.
stereotype that like Germans complain all the time. And I'm like, I complain about like, oh, I feel more German now because I'm complaining with them about things I actually understand now.
Because you actually have context, and also you feel like you've earned it, because like you've been here long enough that
Right.
you can actually have a voice about that thing, you know?
And your
Like,
information is not on a surface level anymore. It's not in this expat bubble either, or this
Yeah.
immigrant bubble. You feel like you're part of the culture now, not a bystander, but an actual part of the culture.
absolutely.
So it's not
yeah.
a bad thing, I don't think.
Mhm.
I think it's actually a good thing.
Yeah, that is so true. There is no perfect country. You just gotta accept the things that you're not used to and just adapt with the culture differences and stuff. And I guess complaining is not that bad. You're just saying how you feel.
And finally, in order to answer what I said at the intro of this video, which is like I often forget that I live in Germany. Now,
Right.
what does that mean? I finally noticed this one time. It might have been actually just a few years ago. I was visiting my dad because he's never lived abroad for that amount of time. He's like, "Do you look at Germany still as kind of like a foreign place? Oh, I live in Germany, or is it like you don't even think about it? It's just home." And I was like, "Nah, I don't even think about it," because I don't know about you, but I have these moments, maybe like once a year, once every 2 or 3 years. I'm walking. I don't know. You're going to the bakery, or you're going to go whatever, mail a letter, and you kind of stop and look, and oh, I live in Germany. I live abroad.
For me,
this
it's
is not normal. Like, but because you get so used to it, it's just you're living your daily life, and it's just normal. And sometimes like, oh right, I live like 6,000 miles away from where I grew up. I live in Germany.
It's funny, you say it happens like once every year or three. I actually happens to me like actually fairly often.
Oh really? Yeah.
Even doing small things that I might do every day, but then I have like a moment of clarity. That's pretty cool. I can do that. I couldn't do that on Rhode Island. I can do that here because I live in Germany, and that's really cool.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's so interesting and really cool when you move to a new country and then you do all the things that tourists do. Like you get all excited. What will you try for the first time? Where you want to go? And then suddenly you'll be like, oh yeah, I don't have to rush. I live here. You know? Man, I want to experience that. That would be so cool.
These little things I take for granted
Right.
now is actually an actual really cool thing.
I want to take a trip to Poland. That's a 2-hour bus ride. You know what I mean? Rather than like this whole big deal of flying across the world and a $1,000 plane
Wow.
ticket and all. It's just a quick little thing.
2-hour
Again,
drive
living
only?
abroad to you're just living.
Jeez.
I think some people it's a few months, some people it's a few years, some people it never happens. You know what I mean? So
I've talked to people who've been there for more than I have, and they still feel like a tourist. Where I feel integrated. I know I'm not 100%. I'll never be 100% German.
right.
But I feel like I belong at least. I feel like I have my niche in this city.
And yeah, that's what I think too, because German is in the middle of Europe, so it would be easier to go to a neighbor countries. That would be so awesome. I want to travel a lot, and it would be great if I live in Germany because I can do all the stuff I want to do in Germany and then go to the next countries, like the neighbor countries. That would be so fun. And it would not be expensive because, the flight would not be expensive because it's close. And then, if I heard it correctly, you could go by a bus. That is nice. That is nice. And how much is it though when you go by a bus?
In this country. Everyone, thanks so much for watching. If you would like to, we'd appreciate a
Drinking
Patreon
beer.
subscription.
Oh yeah, where we have lots of bonus content, really fun stuff. And if you don't want to do that, that's fine. Just give us a like or subscribe. It really helps us out. And thanks guys for just watching and joining and being a part of this community.
Really appreciate it.
That was a really good video, and I think I like these two guys. They seem like a nice people in, oh my gosh, 25 years and 12 years in Germany. That's a long time. And yeah, you definitely would call Germany as home by that point. But yeah, thank you so much for recommending this video. This just makes me more excited to go to Germany soon. But yeah, I'll see you guys next time.